Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Wright, and I am the author of a new YA book called Swimming in a Sea of Stars. Very excited about this book. It's pretty awesome. Journal entry. Heading to school. I know what everyone will say. There goes the girl who tried to kill herself. That is the premise of Swimming in a Sea of Stars. It's a novel about teen mental health issues, particularly teens struggling with depression and suicidal ideation. It sounds pretty heavy, right? I know. But this novel places an emphasis on how healing and hope can come from small acts of kindness and how every person matters and can make a difference for good. So I wrote this book because, like a lot of teens today, throughout my life, I too have struggled with mental health challenges, with chronic depression, with anxiety, with feeling like I lack any worth or value to offer the world. And during those dark times, I found moments of light and clarity where I've been shown that even small, seemingly insignificant things I did help somebody else. So, one example of this was a time when I was at yearbook day right before graduation, and a guy came up and approached me. He thanked me for always saying hi to him in the halls. He said that he'd had days where he just didn't want to go on. He just didn't. And on those days, he counted on me saying hi to him to let him know that he wasn't invisible. Saying hi to him wasn't something I even thought about. He was just a nice guy. He was definitely not somebody I thought of as invisible. If anything, I was the one who felt like I was invisible. But apparently, like me, he felt invisible too. And I was glad that I played some small part in giving him connection. And throughout my life, there have been many people who have given me connection. Those connections were an important key to my own personal well-being. Those connections, honestly, they they truly saved my life. With the recent pandemic and other isolating factors, a lot of teens are struggling to reconnect. They're struggling to rebuild their in-person relationships, and that's basically what Swimming in the Sea of Stars is all about. It's about rebuilding those in-person associations. This book begins with a journal entry of Addison Thoreau. It's her first day back at school after her suicide attempt, and her therapist told her that anytime she's nervous or worried, she should write it down in her journal so they can discuss it the next time they meet. So every chapter begins with Addison's journal entry, but the chapters themselves, they're not about Addison. They follow the lives of four other students whose lives are made better and bearable, and in many ways are saved simply because Addison existed in that school on that day. This is not because she did any grand heroic act, but because she quietly existed and showed small kindnesses. She heard a stranger crying in the bathroom and asked an important question: "Are you okay?" And when she found that this stranger wasn't okay, she offered real help and some good advice, even though she wasn't sure this girl was going to take her advice. With each of the four students, there's different scenarios that are, realistic and reflective of what teenagers have to go through. There's an internet famous popular guy with personal struggles that nobody knows about. There's a wrong side of the tracks girl who everybody is sure is going to end up in jail someday. There's a girl who suffers from physical abuse at the hands of her mother. And then there's a guy who's struggling with his cousin's new cancer diagnosis. And I know it sounds like a lot of heavy issues, but Swimming in a Sea of Stars is a story of hope. It shows how we're all interconnected, like the stars in the sky. If even one star goes missing, the effect is profound. The theme came because I was listening to a song by Linkin Park called One More Light. And it made me think of how every star in the sky matters. If one light goes out, it changes the whole sky. Swimming in a Sea of Stars deals with hard things. It deals with abuse and death and depression and bullying. But there's also a light that repels the dark because it also deals with humor and love and friendship and support. We all have our own drama and trauma. I know I certainly do. We have our own stuff that's hard to deal with. but we also have the ability to help others deal with the things that are hard for them, even as they help us deal with the things that are hard for us. We all have something to offer the world to make it a better place. I hope this book shows all the ways life can be beautiful if we're looking for beauty. When people contemplate suicide, they've often forgotten how to hope for better. There are days that are dark. Problems do exist. I know this as well as anyone. But solutions also exist, and so does light. And speaking from personal experience, if we stick around when things are bad, then we're going to be around when they're good again, and they will get good again. While suicide is a heavy topic, it's also an important one. I was very intentional in showing that even when life is challenging, there are also funny and enjoyable moments, which are shown through the characters of Damien and Avery, who are, I think, pretty hilarious and entertaining. They lighten the general mood considerably as they banter over pretty much everything, like the time when they were kids and Avery stole Damien's go-kart and crashed it. Damien says stole, Avery says borrowed. Damien says crashed, Avery says strategically placed. The last chapter begins like all of the others, with Addison's journal entry. But then it changes. The last chapter is from Addison's point of view. It's the only full chapter in her point of view. It's here where Addison reflects on her day. She calls the day uneventful. She does that because she has no idea the impact she had on others. But she does feel the day's impact on her. This is a chapter where Addison makes an important decision. This is where she decides to stay, to take control of her own story, and to let it take her someplace fantastic. My goal as a writer is to entertain and to transport the reader to someplace else, and to also tell the truth. I hope readers can see themselves in my stories, that they can defeat their personal dragons because they saw a character they could relate to in one of my books overcome some insurmountable obstacles, such as abuse or depression or isolation. In writing the truth, I hope readers feel that truth long after they close the book. I think teen and adults will want to pick up this book because it easily translates to their lives. It is a safe place to explore hard topics and how to deal with those topics. I think this is a book that can be used as a resource to help those who are struggling with suicidal ideation, struggling with depression, anxiety, or if they're just dealing with overcoming trauma in their lives. For readers, I want them to feel hope and joy and meaning in their own lives. We all have light to give, and I hope this book helps readers feel their own value. I hope it makes them want to stay and shine. So readers can connect with me on social media. I am most active on Instagram under the handle Scattered Jewels. That's SCATTEREDJULES. But I also have a presence on other platforms as well. I can also be contacted directly from my own website, juliewright.com, and people can buy Swimming in a Sea of Stars anywhere books are sold. If you've got a favorite bookstore, whether online or in person, stop in and make a pre-order now. Thanks so much, and remember to stay and shine. Thanks so much. Have a great day.